As phase 2 approaches, a lot of people are talking about quest stacking. Now I've got some quests done on my rogue, but I enjoy the grind and have friends I want to level with, and I know they won't be quest stacking. So what I'm mainly doing is gathering gold and preparing professions. All my characters have specific professions to level with, and then some will drop and swap at 40. So let's break down how I'm preparing for phase 2. I've got herb and alch on my warlock, tailoring and enchanting on my mage, mining and engineering on my hunter, and leatherworking and skinning on my rogue. For my gathering professions, I'll level those as I level the character, but for my crafting professions, I'm aiming to get them to 225 or as close as possible on day 1. For the sake of time and not being repetitive, I'm going to go over what I'm doing with my rogue with leatherworking and skinning. However, this is a process I'll repeat across all my ults. What I'm doing is using WoW Profession to see what materials I need in order to get as high as possible day 1. Now the highest you can get with the current available mats, light, medium, and heavy leather/hides is 200. At 200 you start using thick leather, which I believe you need 175 skinning for. So right now you can't skin anything that'll drop it. However, you can make thick leather with 6 heavy leather at 200 leatherworking. So I'll convert any extra heavy leather I get from my farm to thick leather, and then I'll get the rest organically. To get from 150 leatherworking to 200, you'll need 475 heavy leather, which is a lot. But that number drops dramatically if you can get 20 heavy hide, cut in half actually, down to 209 heavy leather. So this is my goal, farm until I get 20 heavy hides, and that way any extra heavy leathers could be used to convert to thick leather at 200. Now the lowest level mob that can drop heavy hides is mottled razormoor, the raptors in wetlands and the excavation site. These raptors are more likely to drop medium leather than heavy leather, but you can turn 5 medium leather into heavy leather, meaning I can still technically get my heavy leather, albeit at a slower rate. I'll need 1045 medium leather to get 209 heavy leather, which will be enough if I manage to get 20 hides. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, but stay with me. Now, I aim for 100 to 150 medium leather a day, and after about a week of raptor killing, horde ganks, numerous bot reports, I hit my mark. By the time I gathered 20 heavy hides, I had also gathered 560 heavy leather. This means I can use the 209 heavy leather to get from 150 to 200, then convert the 350 extra heavy leather into thick leather. Now the levels from converting the heavy to thick, and then what I can craft with the thick leather, should push me to the 225 mark or get me very, very close. Next, you need to pick up all the salt and thread you'll need from the leatherworking vendor, along with the recipe for heavy leather ball, which can be found at the leatherworking vendor in Ironforge. Make sure you're grabbing any limited supply recipes ahead of time, because they will be a hot commodity come phase 2. Now there is some professions that have hiccups with this method, so I'd like to quickly touch on those right now and explain if there's a way around it. For alchemy, there is a range from 185 to 210, where WoW professions tell you to make 30 elixirs of agility. You'll need 30 goldthorn for this. I don't know about you, but on my server, goldthorn is very pricey. So a way around that, and this is also on WoW professions, this isn't some secret, is leveling 185 to 195 with mana potions, and 195 to 215 with nature protection potions. These 2 potions are made with strangle kelp and either king's blood or life root, which are much easier to get. From 215 to 225, we hit another section of mats that are hard to get or pricey, so what I recommend is just wrapping up those last 10 levels with any yellow recipes you get from your trainer. Tailoring is pretty good all the way through, but there is a section from 175 to 185 where they recommend making bolts of mage weave, and as far as I know, we can't get mage weave until about level 40, which makes this part very difficult. But the next thing in the guide is still made from silk, so you're still in the silk leveling range. So what I'm going to do is continue making items from bolts of silk through that level range, and when I hit 185, go back on track with the guide. For enchanting, it's easy. You just need the enchant bracers, lesser strength from Dalriot and Ashenvale, and then it's a bunch of vision dust, soul dust, and some lesser mystic essences, and you can easily jump to 225. Now engineering and blacksmithing have it the worst. At 175 for engineering and 200 for blacksmithing, you begin to need mithril and stones that come from mining mithril, which as far as I know is unobtainable right now, so you're gonna need to get your mining up in order to finish grinding out those professions. So those are gonna be a little bit more difficult, which is unfortunate because I plan on dropping skinning at 40 on my rogue and picking up engineering. Engineering is just a good profession for damage and tanking, and I plan on tanking through phase 2 just like I did phase 1. And if you have any questions on how to tank, you can check out my tank guide right here. And that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys learned a little something. I'll see you in phase 2.